Hi felters and welcome. So today is a fun one. We are going to try out doing some shading on our felt. So first off we're going to try the Panpastels. They came with these foamy things. They came with this spatula thing which wasn't very useful. So I'm going to discuss the price. So this set was £52. I know, really expensive. But normally individually they're about £11 or £12. The fun bit is, it took me a while to realise this, that they all screw into each other. So they're lovely, they stack up, and they do have a warning on them saying do not breathe in the powders. So I just tried out the spatula there, and then I'm just having a go with the brush. So £52 for this set of 7. They do other sets, these are the brushes I'm using, but they're about 11 or 12 individually. So in the set, that brings them down to about £7.50. So, you know, personally, I'm going to use them a lot. So I've made up this eye, and we're going to do a little bit of shading and then put the eyelids on. So I've never used them before. I've always wanted to try. Recommended by Cindy Lou Thompson in her book, both of her books actually. And they last a long, long time. There's so much in these Panpastels that they're not going to run out. So I got a tiny little bit, and I'm just shading the outside of the eye. Normally with eyes I would put a slightly darker colour, but we are going to add the eyelids, so it's not going to show that much, but I thought this was a great tester point for me to start and see what it's like. It goes on really easily, not a problem to put on and apply, and I think it came out quite smooth. Now I knew I could cover it up anyway, but the edges are going to show, so we just do the lower lid and then we're going to pop the top lid on, and then I'm just going to play around with some colours and trying it out. I'm not keeping this is not going to be anything. This is literally just for the video, just to see how the powders go on. So we're going to try and do the line going down from the front of the eye with a light brown. So I'm just trying to draw the line down. So I've got a nice thin paintbrush here, and again it went on really, really easily. We're going to do more shading up and around. We're going to try and do dots. We're going to play around with some long fur and just see how these work, because I've heard these are good. And then I managed to put a bit more shading, just filling in that gap there. So it does go on nice and easily. If you make a mistake, I guess you could just put some wool over the top. Now I'm just trying to apply a different colour at the back here to see how easily the lighter colours go on. And again, it definitely shows. We'll go up close in a minute. And it's very easy to apply. It didn't sort of fall and drop down. You know how sometimes powders can be really loose. It went on exactly where I wanted it to go. It almost felt like I was painting. And you can see here how it applies and goes on nice and easily, and it doesn't take me too many goes to get it on. We're also going to use a fixative later just to see how that works. Now I've gone for the lighter beige, or very light beige, just popping that down the front. We're not doing, this is not like a real colour, this is just testing stuff out in places. So that worked nice as well. That went on. I then tried to get it underneath the eyelid, and again, not too difficult. I got some on the black of the eye, and it was very easy to just sort of dab off with my finger. So if you do make a mistake like that, I think it's easily correctable. I get some more on it here, but I just gave it a little rub and got it off, so that was good. And then I'm just putting some of the colour on the top just to really see. So if you had an animal with a pink nose, this would work really well. Can you imagine just adding that on to sort of make the pink pink? Especially if you don't have all the fur you need. So I was sort of imagining a nose going out the front there. And I'm just giving it a tap and just seeing if it stayed on. If I rubbed it quite a bit, I think it went a little bit lighter. But it's still there. But like I said, I think you could just put wool over the top if you had made a mistake. Now I just had to give this a go. I knew it probably wouldn't work, so I tried with the white to get the white of the eye. But I would just use a bit of white wool. It's much, much stronger. Worth giving it a go, but again you can see I just give it a rub over and it disappears. But it would be good to whiten wool if you wanted something really, really white. I'm just going to do some spots and dots. So imagine you had a seal that you were doing, or something that needed a lot of dots all over it, which we all know takes ages to apply wool. So, or an owl. This is quite good for features on an owl. So there we go. It went on super easily, super sort of exactly where I wanted it. So I was very pleased with that too. Now I'm just going to attach some long fur. This is just a white tops. And we're just going to see if we can shade it. So if you were having to do spots or stripes with an animal, or if you wanted to colour around the eyes of a long-haired animal. And again, oh, well, I have to say I'm sold on it, just to let you know. It went on so well. It was really easy to apply, and it blended beautifully. I mean, it did not look it didn't look like I'd added wool, which sometimes that can be a bit harsh. It didn't look like I'd added powder. It just looked like the wool was that colour. So I put a bit on, then I put a bit more on. And I was super impressed, and I'm kind of really looking forward to trying it out if I have to shade the eyes around something with long hair. So see how nice it sort of blends over with the rest of the wool, and yeah, it just went on so well. And then I'm trying a lighter colour further up again, just to see, and I think we're going a little bit close so you can see how it sort of applies. But exactly the same again. I was really, really pleased with it. So I put a couple of layers on, and look at that. I mean, it just looks like a really natural blend of wool. It doesn't look like you've applied powder to anything. So yeah, I was super impressed with that, and I definitely want to use it for that again in the future at some point. So yeah, those are the sort of ranges of things, and here's me. The most fun bit is stacking them all up. It's really nice. It's great that they stack away nice and neatly, and they don't take up much room. So there we go, that's the stack. But yes, they are expensive. Next we're on to Faber-Castell oil pastels. I've heard that you can use them. This whole set, I'm pretending to read the instructions. I don't really take them in. Maybe I used them wrong, I don't know. They were £11.95 for 36 colours, so you can see the difference straight away. However, they are oil pastels. They did feel a bit sticky, whereas you don't get any of that. And they did, because they're sticky, they pulled the wool a bit. And so I kept having to refelt the wool back down, because it was all sort of sticking up a bit. So I really felted that area there and tried again, but again it was pulling the wool. So I don't know if anyone's used them, let me know. Maybe I was doing something wrong, but they definitely weren't anywhere near as good as the powders. I do try them on a bit of so here we are, I'm trying again. I'm really giving it a go with them. But you can see with the pink, even when I felt it back down, it looks patchy, and it looks like you've added something onto the wools. So I don't think it was that good. So I tried it on some long wool. Yes, it went on, but again, I think it was patchy, and again, it's slightly sticky. So I don't think you're going to get that natural blend. So I thought I'd show you this, a fixative. Everybody talks about hairsprays. So I'm going to use this fixative. I personally, this is just a tester. I would never do it because I sell items, and this is highly flammable. So I thought I'd test how flammable it really is. I thought maybe it will go woof up, but it didn't. So we tried to light it in a minute. And the wind just took everything away. So this is my son trying to light it whilst I was videoing, and it just sort of singed it a bit. And then I took over and tried. And again, it didn't really light sort of in a big flame, but I definitely, personally, I wouldn't use it. So I just thought I'd give the fixative a go and see what you thought. Lots of people use it on their artwork and stuff like that, which is fine. And now it's time to put my money where my mouth is and actually try the Panpastels out on my felt. So I've got this owl that I did a while ago, and I'm going to do a tutorial on him at some point. And I thought I would just put some of the colours around the outside of the eye, because I think it would give it a nice shading. And you know what? There's the difference. There's the one on the right and the one on the left. I think it really looks good, and it's a lot easier than adding wool. and then I just filled in the bit that I sort of covered over. And again, really nice detail. And I was worried about the powders rubbing off, but you can give them a little rub and they still stay there. So I think they're really good. And then also, see that's fine. I could have done the chest if I'd have known about this. The chest would have looked nice with some sort of powdering, and those lines down there, easily I could have done them. And it's a lot easier than twirling the wool and adding it. So I thought I'd do some of the lines on my mushroom because I think it would highlight it quite nicely. And yes, it takes a short while, but it's a lot quicker than taking some wool, twizzling it, felting it all in, and this just gives a really nice detail. So I do enjoy this channel because I get to have a bit of fun and try things out that I wouldn't normally push myself to try. And there we go. See, I think that works really, really well. Definitely. This is the set I got with the colours, £52, but it's a real investment for the future. Sorry about the singeing. So I am a pan pastel convert now. I'm definitely going to be using them in the future. So thanks for watching. Any questions, pop them below, and we'll see you again soon. Take care.